The math behind the indifference curve is pretty straightforward. An indifference curve is simply derived from a utility function. So we're going to take a sample utility function here. Let's say that utility is a function of consumption and leisure, and that function specifically will be consumption times leisure. And this is a typical sort of utility function that we use in microeconomics. It has some interesting properties. For example, as we'll see in later segments, the marginal utility of leisure depends very much on how many consumption dollars you have, and the marginal utility of consumption depends on how much leisure time you have with which to enjoy it. This is a function where we've weighted consumption and leisure equally, but you could have other utility functions where somebody had a strong preference for leisure, and we'd find a way to weight that more heavily in our utility function. So what I do next is I just pick a value of utility. Utility is an index, so it doesn't really matter what value I pick. In this case, I've picked 42,000. And I basically fill in that constant all the way down my spreadsheet. I have also picked the value of consumption, $400 to start, increasing all the way up. And then for leisure, what I've done is I've just created a function. So I input into the leisure cell the function L is equal to U of CL divided by C. So basically E, what's in the E column divided by what's in the C column. And I copy that all the way down the spreadsheet as well. And then when I plotted the result, consumption versus leisure, I get this nice downward sloping indifference curve. It has all the basic properties I'm looking for, particularly that when I'm at high values of consumption, I would give up a lot of consumption to get just a little bit more leisure. But when I'm at low values of consumption with a lot of leisure, I would only give up a little consumption to get a lot more leisure. So it has that diminishing marginal utility property that we expect from utility functions. Because this is an equally weighted utility function, you could plug this into Excel and weight consumption and leisure differently, and we'll do that in another segment. What you could do first, which is very easy, is just change the value of U. You could change it to, say, 50,000 instead of 42,000, and you would see that the new indifference curve that you plotted would be to the right, showing the increasing utility.